Thank you, Sophie. Good evening to you. Coming up on BBC London. The family's constantly moving into temporary accommodation. We report on the impact it can have on children's education.
It's had a massive impact on our education for sure. It's affected each and every one of us.
Also tonight,
I'll have the latest from the Thames Path outside Putney, where earlier this morning this huge tree fell on a woman. She's been taken to hospital.
plus the Berkshire town put on the map thanks to the sitcom The Office. An American couple tells us why they're desperate for a house swap in Slough. And
Essex definitely know how to throw a party.
yes, Rylan announces Radio 2 in the Park is coming to Chelmsford. We'll bring you the details. A very warm welcome to the programme. Lovely to have you with us. We start tonight with a warning over the number of children in London who don't have a permanent home and the impact it can have on their education. The equivalent of one pupil in every classroom in the capital is living in temporary accommodation. It's feared some kids are at risk of going missing from school as they are moved from borough to borough or even to other cities. Our Work and Money correspondent Megan Owen has been hearing from some of the families and children directly affected.
Mother of three, Shanice, is no stranger to packing. She's lived in temporary accommodation for the last 4 years. But now she's being evicted by the landlord and says the council has only offered her unsuitable properties, including one over an hour away from her children's school.
The children are happy where they are. They've got their friends. You know, I know it's a thing of, oh, they can go and make other friends, but when you're in school and you're the new person, you do feel alone and isolated, which is exactly how I would feel moving to a different borough where I know absolutely nobody. So I do need people here around me, not just for me, but for my children as well.
Shanice suffers with bipolar and says her mental health struggles have made the situation even worse. She admits her children's attendance at school has suffered because they're not in permanent accommodation. A new report today by the Shared Health Foundation is urging the government to put a system in place so schools and GPs are aware when children move, to stop them going missing from the system.
The second thing is we're asking for a reduction in the overall number of children who are moving out of area, or at least for the government to know where they're moving to. At the moment, the government doesn't collect any of that information, and we're starting to see families move increasingly up the country, so from London to Manchester, or London to Birmingham, or London up to Newcastle, as the housing pressure increases.
Ealing Council say Shanice was recently made offers of suitable properties both in and out of the borough within easy reach of her support networks. Because of her refusal of these property offers, the council have discharged her main housing duty and have made a referral to Children's Services at Hounslow Council.
What would you say to that?
You're placing them in different boroughs, expecting them to make a whole new life for themselves and then have to do it again and again. So when is enough enough? When can people actually settle and make roots for themselves?
The number of children in temporary accommodation is at a record high, 164,000 in England and over 90,000 of those in London, the equivalent to one in every classroom. Grace, her mother Felicity and her two siblings have been in temporary accommodation for 20 years. At one point, their journey to school was over 2 hours.
I'll spend the whole day and then waiting for my children, for them to finish their school. So always I need to hang around until 2 o'clock because I can't go back to the motherhood.
It's had a massive impact on our education for sure. It's affected each and every one of us in different ways. You know, you cannot expect a 16-year-old from temporary accommodation to sit a set of exams that will literally change their life and expect them to have the same sort of shot or expect them to perform as well as their, you know, more stable, affluent counterparts. It's literally not a level playing field at all.
The government says it's investing £1 billion in homelessness services this year and plans to make children's social care, schools and other local services more joined up. But for some, it's come too late.
We've grown up like this, and we don't want, you know, for the generation after us to be in the same position. And we're not going to ever get out of the system when it's stacked against us.
That was Grace ending that report there, and Megan's here with me now. Clearly this is becoming more of a concern for councils in the capital.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we heard there that schools, GPs, local councils are not really communicating with each other, and as a result some children are falling between the cracks. But of course the other issue is that councils are cash strapped. They have a legal obligation to provide temporary accommodation to people who are classified as homeless, but those numbers are at a record high. Now, the association that represents London councils says that they've actually overspent in the last year on their homelessness budget by over £300 million. That's because of a number of factors: fewer rental properties, increased use of hotels. So really it's a perfect storm.
So could next week's government spending review be a key moment?
I think all eyes will be on it, yeah. I mean, the amount of money that councils can claim from the government for temporary accommodation is frozen at 2011 rates, but of course housing costs continue to soar. Now, the Local Government Association is urging the government to increase that subsidy in its spending review. The government says it's already going to invest £1 billion in homelessness services this year to help families trapped in temporary accommodation. But of course, it's not just this problem. The government will be getting lots of pressure from all sectors ahead of the spending review, and we will be keeping a close eye on that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Megan. Thanks very much, Megan Owen there. You're watching BBC London. Thanks for being with us, and lots more ahead, including we meet the woman who's one of just 100 NHS donors with rare blood, helping to save lives. A woman has been taken to hospital after being hit by a falling tree in southwest London. It happened on the Thames Pathway this morning in Barnes. Our reporter Thomas McGill is there this evening and can tell us more. Thomas.
Yes, good evening, Riz. Well, this is an extremely busy part of the Thames Path, just comes from Putney town centre along the Thames, used by hundreds of joggers, dog walkers, cyclists and others every single day. It's also lined with hundreds, if not thousands of trees, and it was this huge beast of a tree that suddenly toppled down earlier on this morning and hit a passerby, one of those users. Now, this is all that's left of it at the moment, but as you can see from these pictures, the sheer size and scale of that trunk when it fell, almost completely blocking the pathway for a time. Now, Richmond Council say they were fast to react and sent contractors to begin clearing. Again, you can see pictures of the workmen down here earlier this morning chopping the tree up and clearing the pathway so that it could reopen for people to enjoy. Now, Richmond Council are the owners. They manage this pathway, and all day I have been down here speaking to people who have been on it, and understandably they've been asking why and how this could happen on such a beautiful, warm, calm summer's day. And that was a question I put to Richmond Council, who in a statement said that they are looking into the circumstances of the incident and will consider any further steps necessary based on the findings. So no precautionary measures quite yet for Richmond Council. Now, as for the woman, well, we understand, or we know that she was treated here at the scene before being taken to hospital, and we understand that her injuries involve her arm and her shoulder. So certainly a very scary morning for her, for those who witnessed it, and for the wider community who regularly use the Thames Path here in Putney, Riz.
Yeah, indeed. Thomas, many thanks. Thank you from Barnes there. Next, could passengers enjoy quicker journeys and fewer delays under a proposed shake-up of flight paths for the first time in 70 years? Ministers have ordered an overhaul of UK airspace to create more direct routes, and the first area to be looked at will be London. We can find out more from our transport correspondent Tom Edwards. Hi Tom, so what are they trying to do here?
Well, this has been talked about for some time because the airspace is out of date. It was designed in the 1950s when obviously there weren't as many planes around. This is what we're talking about now. You'll be able to see on your screens. This is kind of artist's impression of the airspace. Those little blue dots are planes whizzing all about. And what they want to do is overhaul it, particularly the stacks, these holding stacks, these loops that you get where planes loop round and round waiting to land. They want to have fewer stacks, make it more efficient, so they've appointed a service to look at this, in particular with relation to expansion at Heathrow. Heathrow, when I spoke to them a month ago, they said they wouldn't actually be able to build a third runway unless these flight paths were redesigned, so an important issue.
What about reaction to these plans?
Well, there's considerable uncertainty around it, and that will make people very, very nervous. What campaigners think this is really about increasing the number of flights in the UK, and that is what the government wants. The government wants airports to expand, but have a listen to one of the campaigners I spoke to a little bit earlier.
Well, it's important to say that we don't oppose the modernisation of airspace. That's something that's long overdue. I think the biggest problem, though, comes from, the uncertainty about where new flight paths may end up and the impact that those new flight paths will have. It's quite likely that the process of modernisation will introduce greater concentration of flight paths, and that means planes will fly closer together, but it also means that the impact in terms of noise pollution on the ground for overflowing communities will be more intense and potentially see an increase in the number. And the big concern around the whole programme really is that this is designed to enhance the capacity. And whether that's with a third runway at Heathrow or not, the idea is to get more planes flying in the skies above what's already one of the most congested pieces of airspace in Europe.
Now, there will be some time before the changes. We're talking years, decades even, but this is the first step in the redrawing of flight paths right across London.
OK, for now, Tom, thank you. Our transport correspondent, Tom Edwards there. A quick look at some of the day's other stories now. The family of a hiker from London who went missing in the Italian Dolomites say they are heartbroken after his body was discovered on Saturday. Aziz Ziriat went missing while hiking with his friend Sam Harris on New Year's Day. The 36-year-old was discovered by a specialist team lying in a rocky crevice 400 metres below where his friend's body was previously found. And police have named a woman who was stabbed to death in Croydon as 26-year-old Majama Osman. Officers were called to Frith Road on Saturday morning just after 9. 2 men were arrested over the weekend on suspicion of murder. Both have since been released on bail. It's not quite like a superpower, but I do think it's amazing. The words of Julia Grin from South London, who has a blood so rare that her donation can help someone with a genetic disorder, especially like sickle cell. The 27-year-old is just one of around 100 people on the NHS Blood and Transplant's Rare Donor Panel. Harry Lowe went to meet her at Europe's busiest blood donation centre in the West End.
Giving blood. Many of us do, many more have considered it, but few donors are as sought after as Julia. Inside Europe's busiest blood donor centre, the South Londoner is among those doing her civic duty.
I've been giving blood since I was 16.
Julia's combination of antigens means she's one of just 112 people on the NHS Rare Donor Panel.
I wouldn't say it's quite like a superpower, but I do think it's amazing that something that you just happen to be born with can help so many people.
Today's donation will go to a patient with sickle cell, a genetic blood disorder. The chance of finding a blood match for the recipient is 1 in 800,000.
I always wanted to give blood because I have friends and family who have needed transfusions in the past. So it always felt like something that I wanted to do to help out. But now that I know that it's going to a specific person who needs it for a specific cause, it does definitely make it a bit more meaningful and direct.
Doctors say although rare donors are crucial, so too are the efforts of other Londoners.
We are very lucky here in the UK and in London especially, because we do have enough amount of rare donors that we can call up whenever they are needed. We might want more rare donors to come through, but every donor is important, every donor is amazing for us.
And so saving someone's life could be as simple as giving blood. Harry Lowe, BBC London.
Still to come for you before 7. The Berkshire town put on the map thanks to the sitcom The Office. An American couple tells us why they're keen for a house swap in Slough. Before that, though, Southend United fans got to Wembley and watched their team come within minutes of a win, only to be denied it in the closing stages of extra time, meaning they won't return to the English Football League. But they hope this will be the beginning of a return to good times, as Tom Williams, who was at Wembley, reports.
It is! It's Oldham's time at Wembley. Southend on their feet.
After 120 gruelling minutes following an exhausting season, Southend's players sank to their knees. Heartbroken, a gut-wrenching conclusion. Promotion had been within their grasp until Oldham cruelly snatched it away. As fans flooded out of Wembley, reflections about what might have been.
15 minutes from getting out of this league, just absolutely unbelievable.
I wouldn't say the better team won, because they both were winners on the day. A lot of positives, massive positives, and yeah, we've got another season now of starting on a good note, shall we say.
So proud of them. All the way, we'll get there in the end, but we'll just keep believing in our team and keep going, won't we? Yeah.
We nearly went out of business this time last year, so obviously it's been a long road back. Can't really put it into words right now.
I think one guy had on the back of his shirt, Southend United, the team that refused to die. So I think that's their tenacity is good.
Next season we go again, champions next season. Come on, Southend.
In many respects, a miracle they were here. So fans arrived in joyous mood. Taken over last summer after years of struggle, High Court appearances, winding up petitions, debts, transfer embargoes and points deductions. The list went on. But under new owners, they've rebuilt the team and rebuilt hope for a brighter future. A record crowd of more than 52,000 for a National League final saw Southend lead twice, first in normal time, then extra time. But in 2 tortuous minutes, Oldham equalised, then won it to earn promotion to the Football League.
I'm so proud of everyone, and you know the numbers we turned up in today, the players for the effort they gave, and it just wasn't to be in the end. What the football department have done is unbelievable in terms of recruitment, the coaching, everything, and I'm so proud of them.
Absolutely gutted, because I think we was 10 minutes away from it being ours, and yeah, obviously it wasn't meant to be, but boys will pick themselves up, and I think the boys in there, the club, everyone have done unbelievable to get to this position compared to sort of how we started the season and things that went on. So I think everyone can be proud of themselves, definitely.
This result will hurt, but Southend have come a long way in the last year. Real resilience, real spirit. Knocked down before, but they always come back fighting. Tom Williams, BBC London.
Well, as the football season ends, the summer festivals get underway. And today, Rylan announced BBC Radio 2 in the Park is coming to Essex this year. Highlands Park in Chelmsford used to host the Festival and promises to bring some top acts back to the area in September. Stuart Woodward has more.
Coming to Chelmsford!
The big announcement from Scott Mills, live from his Radio 2 studio this morning.
He's heading to Highlands Park.
It's a moment he shared with his Essex colleagues Rylan Clark and Ellie Taylor, who were live from their home county.
I am beside myself because last year I had to get on the train to Preston. This year I could probably jog if I actually really wanted to. So yeah, I'm so excited. Essex definitely know how to throw a party, and I can't wait to show Chelmsford just what we can bring to Highlands Park.
Huge stars including Kylie Minogue, Elton John and James Blunt have played this event, which draws in tens of thousands of fans. After several years in Hyde Park, it's travelled around the country since 2023, and now it's landed in our region.
Highlands House, such a beautiful location, isn't it? Grade 2 listed, 300 years old. It's even doubled as the White House for film and TV. But it's only once you get up above here and you take in the 570 acres of parkland that surround the house and you realise why it's such a great location for an event like this.
We've had loads of festivals here in the past. In fact, the park really is the home of festivals. And we're just really looking forward to having lots of people come to see the park and also Chelmsford City, which has a lot to offer as well. It could really bring in up to 5 million to the city. So, yeah, we're very pleased to have Radio TV.
Highlands Park is synonymous with music since the days of V Festival. And the news of this 3-day event taking place on the same site went down very well in Chelmsford today.
Quite pleased, actually.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. So got onto Ticketmaster this morning to get an account, and hopefully we can get some tickets. Yeah, it'd be really good.
I think it's a really good idea. It'll promote Chelmsford. I mean, there's been a lot of cash input into the city since it was made a city. And it'll be well supported.
Music in the park is amazing. I know that there used to be the V Festival here years and years ago, and my boyfriend, who's lived here for 6 years, he came to it and he said it was phenomenal. It was a great day out, and if the weather stays like this, happy days.
After being held in Leicester and Preston, Ellie and Rylan are delighted this year's event is much closer to home, and they've got fond memories of festivals past here as well.
I used to love V Festival, and my first ever concert was Take That at the Chelmsford Spectacular 3,000 years ago. So really good
During
memories.
the war?
During the war.
During the war.
Yeah, so can't wait to come back here and probably just sort of have more comfortable seating.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, the all-important lineup is revealed before tickets go on sale on Wednesday. Stuart Woodward, BBC London, Chelmsford.
And as we just heard there, the lineup for that show will be announced on the Scott Mills Breakfast Show on BBC Radio 2 from 6:30 tomorrow morning. And as Stuart said, tickets go on sale on Wednesday. Now to a couple from America looking to do an interesting house swap. It's all to do with their love of a certain comedy that made Mr. Brent, aka Ricky Gervais, a household name. They live in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where the US version was based. They don't think their city was fairly portrayed in the show and wondered whether the same could be said for Slough. Wendy Hurrell has been speaking to them.
It was such a popular show there in England, and it was also such a popular show here in the US. But we think it's such like a unique connection that both Slough and Scranton have. And we were wondering if like any kind of like cultural relationship even existed, and it doesn't seem like it does.
I mean, you would go as far as to do a house swap, I understand. I mean, you're really committed to this.
Yeah, so originally when I pitched the idea, you know, like we do have a place here, we have plenty of space, we have a pool, we have access to a lot of different things. So yeah, we would be open to opening up our home to some visitors. In exchange, we would hope that we could spend some time in someone else's place.
There was a survey last year by a property website, and Slough was at the absolute bottom of the list of where people wanted to live, making it the UK's most miserable place to live. Do you still want to come?
Challenge, yes, yes.
Accepted.
I'm not sure if people in Slough are the same, but us in Scranton, when you say it was ranked lowest, that makes me only want to go even more.
So this is your chance. You're on BBC One. Make a pitch to the lovely people of Slough to start this cultural exchange.
Hi, Slough. We are from Scranton, and we're just dying to get over and see what's going on there. Come on over. We will host you warmly. And, you know, if you don't like it here, we don't like it there. That is still an experience.
Yeah, I think it would just be an excellent opportunity to, you know, do a cultural exchange, get a really good impression of what it's like here in the States, and then also get a really good impression of what it's like across the pond.
Let's prove those housing surveys wrong.
Prove the production of both the UK office and the American office wrong.
You heard them. OK, Slough, come on, challenge accepted. What about the weather? After a bright start to June, let's see how the weather is shaping up this week. Corsa has joined us. What's in store? I mean, you know, the pressure's on. People coming from the States
There is. What can I say? The start of meteorological summer now, and I'm afraid it's all going downhill. Oh, yeah. But some welcome rain. There is some rain on the forecast, but it is good news because for gardeners, for growers, we had such a dry spring. Not only was it one of the driest, but it was the warmest and the sunniest spring on record for the whole of the UK. So a change is on its way. But look, this was a scene sent in from one of our weather watchers earlier. Some sunshine, some cloud around. But yes, it is all going to change, I'm afraid, for tomorrow. Cloudy conditions, some outbreaks of rain. In fact, for the next few days, there will be some rain at times, some showers at times, and it will be quite breezy. And this is the reason why. We've got low pressure to the north of us. And look, these weather fronts bringing with it some rain. A cold front sweeping in tomorrow morning. Cloudy conditions, some rain. And look how close those isobars are. It will be breezy as well. But for the time being, it's dry out there. This evening, some late spells of sunshine, some clear skies overnight. Just a few patches of cloud around by the early hours. And temperatures, well, dipping down to around 9 to 11 Celsius. So then tomorrow, you can see that cloud in the west. It's going to spread towards us, so it means a cloudy, wet start. So if you are heading out tomorrow morning, remember the umbrella. There will be some greens on the map, so here, some heavy bursts for a time. But depending how quickly that clears through, there should be some sunshine to end the day. And depending on how much sunshine we see, well, temperatures could still reach the high teens. But it will be windy, gusts of up to 40 miles per hour coming in from the southwest. Now, tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, it should be dry. Any showers fade away. It should be dry with some clear spells, some cloud around. And temperatures tomorrow night will dip down to around maybe 7 or 8 Celsius, 10 Celsius for central London. And it means for Wednesday, it does start off dry. There should be some spells of sunshine during the morning, but then we'll start to see cloud building into the afternoon and the risk of some showers for Wednesday afternoon. And some of these showers have the potential to have the odd rumble of thunder and temperatures around the mid to high teens, so below average to what they have been. And so then we are expecting that unsettled weather to continue for the rest of the week. Low pressure moves to the north, but then weather fronts arrive in for Thursday, for Friday as well. So it does stay quite unsettled, I'm afraid. But of course, as I mentioned, good news for gardeners and growers. There will be some rain in the forecast and temperatures a bit below average, but improving for the weekend.
OK, of course, I will take it. Thank you. And that is where we leave you. So thanks very much for watching. More stories, of course, on our social media and on our website, including it's where Queen Victoria founded a school and Queen Elizabeth once filmed her Christmas broadcast surrounded by her favourite animals. Yes, the Royal Mews, which houses horses and ceremonial carriages, is marking its 200th birthday. Some great pictures through the years there. From me and everyone on the team, enjoy your Monday evening. Bye-bye.